All right, we're getting ready for some winter camping, and we freshly got back from a recent trip, and unfortunately my 12-volt heater quit working. Looking on the internet, it seems like it's a common problem, so I'm going to take that out and see if I can repair that. Now this is my wet bay of my RV, and many of these RVs are marketed for 4-season camping. I got two problems. One, my heater quit working. Two, this model specifically with the Explorer package is supposed to have the ducted furnace that goes and heats this wet bay. So I have my holding tanks here as well as all my fresh water lines come back here. And unfortunately, that duct was never installed during the factory install. I've ran a camera through all the ducting and everything inside, and there's no ducting or source of heat at all. And I can tell by monitoring the temperature, it gets well below freezing here with the furnace running 24/7. So I'm gonna fix this first. All right, I'm taking a snapshot of how the wires are put together before I take this all apart. And the reason I know this quit working, obviously with the temp monitor, I could tell it wasn't working at all. The fan was working, but it had a very bad electrical smell in here, and the heater would not put out any heat. So the problem with these electric heaters is they take quite a bit of battery power, so they're almost useless if you're wanting to do dry camping, because if you're in really cold weather, this has to run all the time, and it pretty much sucks all your battery power out. So you might as well get the free heat from the furnace, and that's going to be my second fix, but let's go ahead and get this fix first. All right, I got the cargo heat on my workbench. I also have this old Road Pro. I've had this for probably a good 10 plus years. You can see the fabric in the front is starting to come off. I had this as a backup on one of my old RVs that I never used, so this will be my backup. But according to the Google, this cargo heat, common problem is there's an internal fuse that goes out. So let's check out and see if that's what it actually is. Not a very good heater, that's for sure. I think a total usage I've had is about 14 days of cold weather camping. Okay, well, I don't know if the camera can capture that, but I saw it right away. So from what I saw on the internet, it's this cheap little fuse here. According to my research here, if you put an ohm meter on it, you should have 0 ohms going across it. But if it's bad, apparently you'll get an infinity symbol. So let me see if that's what we'll actually get on my multimeter here. So I don't know if the camera can pick that up. Let me put it on this side here. I'm not very familiar with an ohm meter. I just know enough to be dangerous. And I don't know if the fuse needs to be actually disconnected here. But looks like we're getting... it's bouncing all over the place. Which is, I think that is meaning that's pretty much, well, I got 0.2 that time. So here we go. Now it's bouncing all over the place. So I'm guessing that usually means it's the infinity symbol. Let me see if I can get a better connection here. There we go. OL. I don't know what the OL stands for. All right, this is my latest conclusion. Let me turn on a light here. So I ended up jumpering this fuse. Made this homemade, I don't know what you want to call it, but I ended up jumpering this fuse because I did some more testing, and it seems like that fuse actually tested okay. And there was a little bit of burning smell when this first went out. Here I have the circuit board out. I'm afraid parts of the circuit board itself went bad. And looking online, this heater itself has been discontinued. So instead of trying to buy parts, buying circuit boards, throwing parts at it, and it's pretty hokey, it's all plastic. I wasn't impressed with it, so I think I'm just going to end up tossing this. I don't think I can even use this as a spare parts. I did test out this Road Pro, even though it only has the black and red wire, and this is a 3-wire. This third wire must be a signal wire, but it's not needed. This Road Pro works perfect. You just leave it in the the on setting, and you can control it through your Firefly. So this ended up working okay, but because I'm heavily dependent on that heater and I can't have it fail, this, even though it worked fine, it's just another cheap plastic model. But if you're looking for an alternative, this will work. It's much cheaper. But I ended up getting this one here. If you see here, this is from DC Thermal, and I'll put a link to their website, but this is a much more robust heater made with much better components. Specifications wise, wattage wise, it's exactly the same as this. They do make different models, but doing some research on this, looks like they're pretty popular in the marine industry. Now their website is pretty old. Getting a hold of them is nearly impossible. I had a really tough time getting a hold of them, but I did order through their website directly. It took a few days, but they did acknowledge my order eventually, and it took about 7 to 10 days to get this. If you look online, it says they have a major back order, but if you order directly from them, you can get it turned around pretty quick. The reason I went with this also is you can use the old mounting brackets, so I don't have to do any modification. It came with these wing nuts, and I can use the exact mounting brackets. And let me see what else it came with. It did come with its own bracket, big fuses, if you're doing a standalone installation, but I didn't have to do any wiring modification or anything. Only have to use the positive and negative wire. But I've tested it extensively, and looks like the duty cycle on this and all the components, how it's put together, I could run this all the time, where these heaters, they're not really made for that. The only other thing I can really show you is I will install this, and you'll see the final finished product, but it basically has a little toggle switch on the side. I think there's off, high, low, high and low. But like I mentioned, this is controlled through my Firefly directly. So let's jump on to it in action. Well, it's dark outside, but I did want to show you this heater in action. If you look at it, you can see the elements heated up. I use the same old mounting brackets. So this is on high, and you'll see all 3 elements on, and it draws about 26, 27 amps. There is a low setting on this toggle switch right there. So if you turn it on low, it's just the top and the bottom elements. But all my controls are done through my Firefly. There's actually a temp sensor in here, so my heater will come on by itself if I adjust my temperature setting. But you can see now I have a heater in my wet bay basement here that is much more trustable and has a duty cycle where it can stay on all the time. So when we're in extreme cold weather, I don't want to have to worry about not having a heater. So I'll use my other heater as a backup, but this is going to be my primary source. But that's really the end of this video. If you're looking for a replacement heater, I probably really recommend this DC Thermal heater. Like I said, the customer service is not the best, but the product is really high quality, made in the USA, and looking at all the components, definitely made to last. But that's my 2 cents. My next project would be why my furnace is not actually dumping heat in here. I think the manufacturer just forgot to do that at the factory, so I'll see if I can get down to the bottom of this. But now we're all set for some pretty cold weather camping.